Hello friends, welcome to Drawing with Pri. Today we're going to be experimenting with a vintage drawing tool. This is a reed pen. Reed pens are made with a piece of reed or bamboo. They are cut and shaped to form a pen. Artists such as Van Gogh and Rembrandt have been known to draw with these kinds of pens. I don't know what they're capable of. I've never drawn with them. Let's go find out. I'm just going to start by drawing a few different lines. I actually really like the texture that it creates. The lines are a bit thick for me. I think I would like a pen that drew finer lines. Let's try a different angle. Oh yeah, so it can create fine lines as well. I'm really liking this. The texture against the paper is really lovely. I'm actually quite surprised at how much ink it can hold. And the feel is very organic. I've swapped my smooth paper for granular watercolor paper and I want to test how different the texture of the paper makes to the types of lines that it creates. Alright, as you can tell, it's a very textured mark because of the texture of the paper. I really like those lines. They have so much character in them. Now I'm going to try the other side of the pen, the one without the hole. The lines seem to be finer. Okay, and as expected, it does not seem to hold as much ink. Now I'm just going to go in and try some different marks and see what I get. I'm just going to try some different shading techniques that you might use with ink, such as the hatching, cross-hatching, scumbling. We'll try a few different things and see what works and what doesn't. We're going to try some texture with the scumbling method, just drawing some random loose circles and see what kind of texture we can create. In comparison to a dip pen, I think this pen holds a lot less ink, but I think what you lose in time, you definitely gain in an interesting sense of texture. I think this method of shading would be really slow because you'd have to go in with ink several times. Oh, and check this out, if you turn your nib, you can create finer lines. That's pretty cool. I can see that being used in shading something. I'm quite liking these textures. Let's go and put it into real practice. We'll get a still life and I'll see what I can come up with. I picked a couple of lemons and an onion and a chili out of my fridge because I thought they were the most interesting specimens of texture. I'm going in without any pencil marks, just going to see what this pen is capable of. I'm going to try to embrace any errors, so to speak. I switched back to drawing with the smooth Bristol paper just because I generally tend to draw on the smooth Bristol paper with a dip pen. It's just a comfort zone of mine, and working with a new medium just seems a bit scary. I think I'm gonna have to spend a lot more time drawing and getting to know this medium before I introduce it into my regular practice, and at this stage I'm not even sure if I want to. But I really like the lines, and it's certainly something that I think I could experiment with a bit more. Would you be interested in trying to draw with a reed pen? Let me know in the comments. Or is it just something that's too strange for you? So my takeaway for a reed pen is that it's a great sketching tool on the right kind of paper. If you want to experiment with this pen, I would suggest avoiding softer paper because it uses a lot of ink, and I think that on softer paper it could easily get damaged. What I didn't like about this pen is that it can cause clumps of ink, and I tried to disguise one of the clumps of ink that I smudged with some clever shading. The other thing that I didn't like about it was that it is very slow to use. You have to dip it many times in your ink bottle. I think a dip pen works a lot better because it tends to hold ink for much longer. The other thing that I noticed is that sometimes it can be hard to control. As I mentioned with the clumping of the ink, sometimes you didn't know whether you were going to get a thick line or a thin line. What I did enjoy about the reed pen was a beautiful texture and feel against the grain of the paper. It has this really lovely organic feel while drawing. Of course, the organic lines are very interesting and beautiful, but I think it can easily be replaced with a brush pen or a dip pen, modern alternatives that are much faster. Of course, for me, a big positive was that these pens are compostable. They're made from natural materials, and so I didn't feel guilty about buying them. Overall, I really enjoyed this experience of going back into the past and trying something that artists before me have tried, and it was a very different experience. But I think there's a good chance I'm going to be sticking to brush pens. If you enjoyed this drawing experiment, don't forget to like and subscribe. It ensures that people like you who enjoy this kind of content can receive it and enjoy it. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.